Alright. I'm expecting to run into a lot of resistance in here. I doubt Harriet Jones.
This place has been ransacked.
Just sitting around. Yep. Follow the blood trail. Harriet Jones.
They've all been slaughtered. Pre-one. No, not their style.
They haven't seen any dead bodies. I mean, obviously there's gonna be blood over here. Oh yeah. Oh wow. Oh my god.
Where has Harriet gone? She must have left a trail I could follow.
That's really funny that Harriet Jones turns out to be like a major center of the disease. Obviously, she's not responsible for the Spanish influenza, but she is responsible for the Spanish influenza / skull mix kind of thing. And she was just some random old lady who was complaining that everyone wasn't mourning for her when she faked her death. Boy, oh boy. This isn't really gonna change that for her.
Where is old Bridget? Damn. If I'd come earlier, they would still be alive.
Yeah, it is a shame that these skulls, these insane skulls, were taken out like this. Oh my. Oh, hey, Maker. Haven't had you visit for a while.
Take not a step further, child, for you are unprepared.
You, at last. I wondered when you would show your face again. Step away. We have nothing to discuss.
Desist, child. You cannot confront the monstrosity unleashed upon this land without due preparation. I shall not allow it.
All right. But no more riddles. Enough of the obscure songs and prophecies. I ask questions, and you answer them.
My words have been as clear as crystal lakes, my child. You seem unwilling to drink, to listen, to learn.
Look, mysterious entity. No matter what, I'm gonna stop Harriet Jones, but talk to me.
Why did you choose me?
Only you could provide a modern, scientific answer to this ancient, mystical threat.
What kind of modern answer?
Disease, contagion, and contamination. How they course through veins is your dominion, my child. Your choices have made you. Only you can save this land.
Wow. Well, at least he knew about me a little bit when he chose me, right?
Speak to me of this ancient threat.
The blood of hate. Vessel of the wrath of the goddess. When she awakens, a disaster will be born into this world, for she is hunger and anger.
Would that make Elizabeth the one who... we need more information.
What is your true appearance?
I do not understand. This is who I am.
Blood? You are made of blood. Surely you are joking.
Why would I? And no, I'm not made of blood. I am blood. Blood is what I am since my birth and for eternity.
I'm so confused.
But who are you really? Tell me your name.
I am your maker. I am the servant of the Red Goddess and protector of this land. I have many names.
Just give me one, then.
There are those who call me Merdin Wild, the Wild Horned Man. But I never was a man. I was born out of blood.
Alright, are you the first vampire, period? Or do you make... How did you make me into a vampire? Did I get bit? Or not bit, but did you give me your blood? Or did the blood just kind of pop up in me? Magic is weird. Anyways, that's all I can really ask him for now, even though I have hundreds of questions I would love to ask him. So, nope, I gotta stop Harriet Jones.
I'm here to stop Harriet Jones. She is the original carrier. The well from which this corruption flows.
I have heard you, but be wary. Harriet Jones's mind is no more. She has metamorphosed into an apocalypse. Born from, drenched in, and driven by the blood of hate.
What is the blood of hate?
What is the blood of hate?
It is the curse of the goddess. It is the hunger in you, the need for blood, the will to strike and to punish, to spit in the eye of God.
Okay. Still vague, but alright. So she's still kind of very similar to the vampires. Is it just like the ultimate pinnacle of someone succumbing to the hunger within?
Tell me about this disaster, creature. I know London fell victim to such a thing in 1666.
A disaster is pure anger born through blood. Its name means bad star, for they only appear when our queen unleashes her unquenchable wrath upon the world.
And who is the Red Queen?
And who is this queen?
She is the Red Goddess, the Queen of Blood. In my youth, 100 lifetimes ago, she was worshipped as the Morrigan. She is my mother. She is yours, too.
The Morrigan? The Celtic goddess of war? Is this a ruse of some kind?
She has been worshipped in many forms throughout the ages. The true nature of the Red Queen is beyond your comprehension, eluding even mine. But know this, she is a vengeful mother.
Right. Okay. I hate when they say, it's beyond your comprehension. Explain, and then I'll be like, yep, can't comprehend it. It escapes my realm of possible knowledge to be able to surmise what something is. Sure. You know? Ugh.
So the disaster is some sort of accident. A disease vampires carry dormant in their blood, waiting to emerge.
That's your modern answer. But a disaster is at the same time both less and more.
Tell me what it is then, in your own words.
A disaster is the pure will of our queen. Whenever she dreams of walking this earth, she awakes in this putrid vessel.
That really doesn't help me out. God.
I only wish to know how to put an end to this epidemic.
To perform an act so noble, you must protect yourself from its poisonous kiss, my child.
I know. McCullum used such a serum when trying to kill me. However, I have produced a more efficacious version of the antidote.
Your final task awaits you at the end of these tunnels. I've known for ages you were worthy of this challenge, my champion, Bittersweet.
So, are you still... You told me not to take on the challenge unless I was ready. Is you answering all these questions just your way of readying me? Because, if there's other things, you know, like one final level up you want to give me, I'm down.
Will it be over then? Once I've defeated this creature?
Yes. The threat will dissipate like so much smoke, for you will have purified its source.
And then what? What will become of me?
How would I know? I am no god, and your fate is in your own hands. For you are our champion.
How would I know? I'm just a mysterious entity that pops up in blood and talks to you in your head.
What will happen thereafter? What future awaits me beyond these dark tunnels?
Your fate, my child, and the fate of this land. A disaster is about to enter this world to smite us all and teach us humility. You are our final hope.
I mean, if it can just be stopped by a well-prepared vampire, it doesn't really seem that much of a threat. At least, not to the world overall.
You tricked me. My sister died for your schemes. I have brought suffering and tragedy into this world. I am not, nor will I ever be your champion.
Very soon you'll come to know that sacrifice is sometimes necessary. I understand the grudge a child bears towards his father and mother. Be brave, my child.
My sister was not a necessary sacrifice. She could have easily just been left alive and been like our mother, where we just go, hey, sis, I'm dead. But I'm fine. I'm also alive, but not really. Ugh. I guess she's down that way. I wonder where old Bridget is. Did she get away from all this? Oh, hey. I guess this is a shortcut out for if I ever want to, like, leave and come back for some reason. But I'm ready. I'm ready for the end. This boss fight might kick my ass, but I'm gonna be persistent.
These poor SKALS didn't stand a chance. This is despicable.
Even at the end, I'm saying stuff like that. Oh, she don't look right. Ugh.
Oh, I'm sick. So sick. Doctor, help me, please. I'm in such pain.
I'll be glad to be of assistance.
Ah, like your help, Doris. Liars! All of you! My poor baby. I've been such a bad mother. But the Queen herself forgave me. Gave me another chance.
Harriet, you must stop all of this. I can't let you infect anyone else.
How dare you interfere with the Red Queen's plans, Doctor? How can you stop the course of nature?
With a cudgel. Whoa! And a bucket and a syringe. All right, Harriet.
They took my daughter from me.
It comes down to this. Oh, jeez. She keeps on doing random shit that hurts me. Her health's going down pretty fast. Maybe she has multiple phases. Whoa. I don't trust it. I don't trust her. No way. Oh no.
This anger I feel.
Red,
is it wrath?
Red Queen's avatar?
I think it is. Oh, how infinitely, how intensely, how irredeemably are you all going to suffer now?
Why do we need to suffer? Ah! What did we do wrong, Red Queen? Oh, no you don't. Hold on now. Alright. I needed a way to keep up the fight.
Blood, feed me, give me their lives.
Oh no! She's got multiple versions of herself! Oh, this is gonna be annoying. Stun! Hold on. Keep yelling. I'm gonna be trying some things out here. Okay. And let's heal ourselves up a little bit. Get some serums in here. Maybe get some blood going. She doesn't have a stun bar, dude! She completely changed up how I want to fight! Which means I also need to change out my weapons. It's time to bring out the gun.
Feed your mother, child.
No, how about I don't do that?
I will reap the land my feed me, abandon their lives.
Not listening! I've gotta keep reloading my gun! Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Ow. Ah, Jesus! Look, if the Red Queen's avatar is so readily destroyed by one she would refer to as her child,
Such innocence, such guilt.
then does she truly deserve to live upon this world? They say that I'm defying nature, but maybe I am nature, right? Let's get a little bit of old blood in my veins. Oh! The blood! It regenerates! Farewell, Red Queen! And go back to your slumber.
Do you think your champion defeated me, my child?
No one could ever defeat you, mother of us all, for you are our every root and leaf.
You've always been my most amusing son.
Then go back to sleep, my queen, and smile at us from your dreams.
Did they feel my wrath? Have they suffered enough?
More than ever, mother of us all.
Until the next time.
Until the next time.
I didn't know the old blood would regenerate my blood as well. That was great. Came a little bit late, though. I probably could have used that way earlier. Meanwhile, my coat is in my leg.
So it's over then, young Ekon. You have put an end to this terrible menace.
Yeah, a little bit.
Old Bridget, what are you doing here?
This is my realm, Ekon. This is SKALS territory.
But they were all massacred by the monstrosity that Harriet became.
Others will come, engendered by deceitful vampires. I don't mean you, of course.
I thought you'd been slaughtered, with all the other SKALS.
I was up above, in search of help when Harriet suddenly turned into that thing. I have no idea what it was.
It's over now. London is no longer shrouded in the disaster's shadow. We're all safe.
Yes, you prevailed in the end. I hope you'll forgive me for the way I treated you when first you presented yourself at our gate.
No need to apologize, really.
Perhaps there will be no stories told or songs sung of what happened here today. But I'll know the truth. Jonathan Reed, newborn vampire, stepped forward and saved us all.
I'm honored to be part of this city's legend. Thank you, old Bridget. May I ask you just one question?
How could I refuse you anything now? I'll answer just as I answered Lady Ashbury when we met a few nights ago.
Who are you? Really?
I was born with the name Bridget Eleanor Wellington. In 1738, my beloved and immortal husband decided to preserve my beauty and youth forever by making me drink his blood.
You were Lord Redgrave's wife?
What?
Then the pompous fool rejected you, did he not?
It was about 200 years ago. Peace found me in time. And I sincerely hope it will find you too, now that all is over.
No, it's not over. I may have ended the vampire epidemic, but I still need answers from the woman I love.
I feared you would say that. Go then, young Ekon, and face your fate. Just remember that I'll always be here for you.
Alrighty. Farewell, old Bridget. I was really expecting to get like another game of 50 questions for old Bridget or something.
London has been cleansed. This catastrophe came about when an ancient, malignant will crossed paths with mortal imprudence. For now, we are safe. For now. My craving for blood remains. Red like hate, red like hunger. Red as life and death, passing from one immortal to another. From predator to victim. Patiently biding its time to rise again. London has been cleansed for now, but there's a simmering hatred, fear, and old grudges. When will we succumb, mortals and immortals alike? The next disaster is only a matter of time. My only hope now is to catch the woman I love, to understand why she fled, and unmask the secret that has been lurking in her blood for so long.
She ran away to a very old-looking castle. Is this an original home for her, or is it just an old place that's just been super run down? I think it's safe to say we're no longer in good old London.
Well, this is it. Lady Ashbur's domain. Why am I not surprised it's not on any maps? I'd better hurry.
He's keeping a secret for people. All right. Chapter 7, Healthy Carrier. Find why Elizabeth's blood creates disasters. I wonder if she's made more than one. Ugh, God. What do you want?
Beautiful morn, my child. It looks like dawn is here at long last.
Can't you just leave me alone? Your precious queen has been sent back to the bottomless pit from whence she came. The nightmare is almost over.
I am here to say goodbye. The sun's warmth exhausts me. Soon I will rejoin my queen in her endless sleep. It is over. You did well.
That's it? You're just gonna leave? After all of that?
So our beloved mother will just go back to sleep, now that enough people have suffered. Is that it?
No, Jonathan. The Morrigan has been appeased because you dared confront her. You have prevailed, my bittersweet champion.
And what are you to her? Her counterpart? Her opponent in some timeless game?
She is my mother, my dreadful and sour-tempered mother. She is yours too, in a way, but you are not born from her terrible womb like me. You are but a distant child.
A far-off descendant? Well, I guess if you're directly... I would make like a grandchild, really.
What does she seek? Revenge? Retribution?
She seeks nothing, since she only dreams of it. In the ancient tongue, when I was young, her name meant Ghostly Queen. Pray she never fully awakens, for her wrath knows no bounds.
Yeah, I'm sure the world will be really worried about her popping up in sewers with blood monsters, but who knows, maybe she'll actually do something more if she were to wake up more.
Why did Harriet Jones become a disaster?
You are the doctor. You hold the knowledge needed to answer such a question. Have you the answer?
I mean, partially? Obviously, it has something to do with the blood of Elizabeth, but I don't fully know why.
I noticed that all the Icors were female, as if a male couldn't endure the metamorphosis. Harriet was also a bitter and resentful woman, as was her daughter.
If the Morrigan prefers despoiled women to become the vessels of her wrath, we should be thankful that but one disaster hath been cast upon this wobbling world.
Yeah, that's really misogynistic, Ancient Mirrodin.
Icors seem to carry various diseases. They did not merely turn people into SKALS. Their presence alone spreads death.
Who knows whether the Red Queen awakens when cursed mortals endure such epidemics, or if the contagions emerge like a curse as she awakes.
Well, you wanted me to find a scientific answer for it, so obviously it's not all just random bullshit on the Red Queen's part.
This is not over. I am here to find the true origin of the blood of hate.
'Tis unwise to interfere with a tale rooted so deeply in the suffering of others.
Well, that's too bad. I need to go see Elizabeth. Also, Jesus Christ, we still have more things to ask him.
What will happen to Ascalon? Will you let them run the country from the shadows?
I don't interfere with petty political intrigues. Ascalon was built upon the lie of a lineage. Such a deceit cannot last forever.
But Lord Redgrave definitely possessed Marshall's blood. Untainted blood from the greatest vampire knight.
Really? I wonder how he managed to acquire it. Perhaps I should retrieve this artifact before going back to sleep.
So wait, did he actually... That's a good question. Did we actually get blood directly from Redgrave? It's really confusing because Redgrave is like supposedly William Marshall's like progeny, but not really. Is it like an accident, or is he really just super faking and he just happens to have a drop of the blood or something? I want answers.
What will become of the vampire hunters?
They will never stop searching for William Marshall, for he escaped their two great hunts. Remember that you too are now on their dark list.
Well, that's mean. I haven't done anything that wrong. I just saved London.
What will become of the Brotherhood?
I foresee trouble for them now that your progeny considers becoming the new primate.
But I'm certain the current primate has no wish to resign.
Exactly. And I am not fully convinced your progeny truly understands what dreadful power he is about to defy.
Oh boy. We might have created a pretty risky scenario by making Swansea a vampire, but hopefully he'll be a better vampire than most.
No. I must know why Elizabeth fled here when I discovered she was the original healthy carrier.
No, she is not what you say she is. That is a secret you will discover soon enough.
And you? Why are you here? Which new thread of which old twisted plan are you seeking to pull now? Tell me the truth.
I am just here to salute my sons, and to bid them fare thee well.
Your sons? Plural? My God, will you ever stop speaking in riddles?
Perhaps I am too old for your spoken language. Perhaps you now have so many subtle words you no longer hear the simplest ones.
What do you mean, sons? Like, legitimately there are multiple people and you're just talking to them?
Who are your sons? Why do you bid them farewell now?
You are my son, as is William Marshall.
Really? How many of us are there?
This is madness. How many have you created? Who else? Shakespeare? Isaac Newton? Alfred the Great? Francis Drake? Thomas More? Guy Fawkes?
My progeny is scarce, for I rarely feel the urge to protect this land anymore. But yes, One of those you named is your immortal brother.
Oh, Jesus.
Maybe you shall meet one night.
He didn't even tell us which. He's like, yep, we're just gonna randomly bullshit that one of these great people is a vampire. I would love to meet an Isaac Newton or Shakespeare vampire. That would definitely be very random.
So that is all we are to you? Puppets you create to defeat some threat born from a dreaming devil?
No. You are my sons. I am proud of you. I mourn when you fail.
Alright, well, I'm glad you've taken some pride in us.
Tell me about William Marshall. Why is his blood so strong?
He is not stronger than you, only older. You are strong, Jonathan Reed. A champion of your time, chosen to defeat a threat spawned of this generation.
His blood was not tainted. The blood Lord Redgrave possessed. That which I used in the serum. But what if it had been?
Then you would have failed, I suppose. For the blood of hate would have corrupted you too.
Well, I guess we got really lucky.
Is he here? Is William Marshall here? Is that why you're here now too?
Have I not already answered that question?
And we don't pursue that any longer. I guess. What if William Marshall is actually Elizabeth? That would be something.
When he fought me, Geoffrey McCullum used a serum made of King Arthur's blood. Since then, I have discovered that it was vampire blood. Whose blood was it?
You just said it. It was the blood of a king. The blood of the champion I chose to save this land in its time of greatest peril.
King Arthur was also your progeny.
What?
Why am I not surprised?
Yes, he was. But he failed in the end. And for centuries the land suffered his defeat.
Yeah, sure, King Arthur was a vampire. Alright, we're going for it.
Speak clearly then. And answer my last question.
What is it?
Did I defeat the epidemic?
Now you've found the castle, Jonathan Reed. Only you can answer that. Farewell, my child. I shall dream about you soon.
Bye, Mirrodin. You fucking dick. Oh my god. I guess we're gonna have to...
It's locked. The castle walls look decrepit. Maybe I can find a way to sneak in.
Yeah, maybe there's some ways to go across from over here. Somewhere. Can't go through the door. Well, we can look around. God, Mirrodin, still giving off riddles. But, obviously, if she was capable of making a disaster once, she's capable of making a disaster again. So, technically, we haven't defeated the epidemic unless Elizabeth either dies or is cured of being a vampire. Or maybe we can turn her into a different type of vampire? I don't know. Oh, hey. Mary Englewood, born Whiteacre, 1534-1578. Robin Englewood. Why are there random names here? Do all of them have names on them? No. Is she an Englewood? Why are those two specific gravestones important enough for us to get names on them? At least I don't have to fight any enemies here. I think. I should hurry though. The sun's coming up.
I cannot enter. The lady of the manor isn't expecting visitors.
Well, that's fine. We're a vampire. A lot of times we can come in uninvited.
Maybe it's just my imagination, but I think I smell Elizabeth's perfume.
At least when dealing
She
with
must be
other
here
vampires.
somewhere.
Old letter. Dear Lady Ashbury, thank you for your recent letter. and all the good news it contained. I cannot wait to finally meet you when you arrive in London. The garden is beautiful under the summer sky, although I noted your wish to avoid heat and direct sunlight because of your frail health. You are welcome any day. We'll discuss this wonderful idea of yours concerning the foundation of an orphanage for young ladies, inspired by the French Maison Royale de Saint-Louis. Sadly closed when the French people chose, my god, I can't even write these words down, to cut the king's head off. Such a place, destined to provide a good education to gifted but poor orphan girls. I will surely excite my friends here in the city. You can count on me, and my influence to help make your project a huge success. Yours ever sincerely, Countess Alexandra Somerset. Ooh.
It's locked, all right.
I guess we can find out a lot about Elizabeth by all the things she's left in here. Portrait of Elizabeth Blackwood by Johannes Vermeer, 1666. Was she the source of the first disaster? Oh boy, she's been around for a long time. Dear Mr. McAllister, as the new legal owner of the Ashbury estate, I intend to quickly engage in the overdue maintenance and repairs of the walls and the crypt of the castle. Among the few architects I invited to send forth proposals, I was most impressed by your respectful approach concerning renovations of historical buildings and their preservation. I would be glad to meet you at your convenience. My only request would be to speak to you directly and not your assistants. Any evening of next month would be agreeable. You may come to the castle, or I can meet you at your office as you prefer. If you agree to come to the castle, I could show you what kind of repairs and modifications I have in mind concerning the crypt, which may need considerable work and reconstruction. Very sincerely, Lady Ashbury.
Like most castles, this one has a crypt, and it holds something special inside.
Perhaps the maker of Elizabeth? Hey! Portrait of Dr. Jonathan Reed by Elizabeth Ashbury.
Elizabeth, my love, you allow my portrait to watch over you while you sleep. I'm flattered.
I'm still so weirded out by
This castle is falling apart.
By the fact that we're just like, oh, my love, when we haven't really had any kind of super romantic interactions with her, like, really ever.
That sweet fragrance. Elizabeth's perfume. She was here, and recently.
I'm glad the rising sun doesn't get me killed. Locate the secret passage. Oh.
What are these symbols? I can feel a mechanism, but it doesn't work. Here's another switch. I should keep looking. What are these symbols? I can feel a mechanism, but it doesn't work.
Do I have to do them in a certain order?
I should keep looking. What are these symbols? I can feel a mechanism, but it doesn't work.
I was just trying to find something. Portrait of Elizabeth and Jacob Blackwood in Versailles. Versailles, 1788. When are we gonna get like a really, really old one? Ah! Vincent van Gogh. That's fun. Nope, this room doesn't have anything for us. Oh,
voila.
Here we go. Confront Lady Ashbury. I guess we just opened up, a secret door. But I still have to look around a little bit. At least she has a whole bunch of nice looking armor. What else can we find out about her? Hey, rats. I don't need to eat them today.
This painting looks suspicious.
I've feasted on plenty. Whoa. Why does she have a painting of the Red Queen fighting a knight? Is that William Marshall? She's definitely seen the Red Queen in her visions. Old contract. Dear Miss Ashbury, when we last communicated, you asked for the conveyance of a large coffin from Temple Church, London, to the crypt of the Ashbury Castle in Scotland. I am happy to report your request has finally been activated. What? It's told me how to activate my senses. I'm like, what do you want me to do here? Okay. My drivers have been informed that, for security reasons, guards must always protect the coffin. You've hired these individuals who will be waiting for us in London. They also have been informed that under no circumstances should the carriage try to pass a river by boat, but always by road and bridges, for the precious wood and the relics inside the coffin cannot be exposed to humidity and moisture. You'll find a detailed quote for the entire operation attached to this letter. We are ready to go to London as soon as payment is received in full. Very respectfully, Samuel Lewis, independent contractor. Fun. Okay. So she was the one who was responsible for the crypt being moved when they were complaining about it. Like, ooh, look at all these things that happened. Ooh. Who's responsible for that? Well, now we know. It's Lady Ashbury. What has she been up to? Who is she hiding down there? Okay. It's so weird that we have random doors to unlock. Because I'm pretty sure this is the last chapter of the game. So it's not like this is going to become a hub area for me to like constantly explore. Can I even open up a map? Yep, there is no map of this area. Recent contract. Dear Lady Ashbury, I write to confirm that my men will be at your castle next Monday to begin the new work on the crypt and its access. The plans have been approved, and I'll personally be on site to supervise the installation of the locks and security measures you've requested. I can also assure you that my men have been briefed about never entering the crypt itself or the second floor of the castle. I must say I'm proud to continue to enhance the work started by my great-grandfather when employed by your ancestor in 1795. Very sincerely, Angus McAllister. By your ancestor. Yeah, her ancestor. That's funny. Alright, Lady Ashbury. I think you need to hire newer people because this place apparently has fallen apart quite a bit. Oh my god, how much more do they want me to read down here? Okay. 12:17. An angel came to me. Blessed be to God. Michael appeared to me last night in all his glory, shaped in glorious blood, to grant me eternal life at the dusk of my life. The apparition was so sublime and terrible that I could not help but lower my head and close my eyes. Struck by the divine gift, I fell to the ground, only to awake the next night. You will serve me as you served your king, said the angel before striking me with all his power. You will protect this land through the eons to come. For all who knew me, I should now hide and retreat, for they consider me dead. Soon I will leave the company of men to serve my new purpose. Blessed be by God. Blessed be God. Okay, that's 12:17. Is this of her or someone else? I think this is... Yeah, okay, I think this is William Marshall. Possibly. 1350. Michael appeared to me last night in my retreat under Temple Church and asked me to prepare for battle. The land must be saved. Death is everywhere. The Black Death. An epidemic sent by the devil himself to punish mortals all over the world. My arm is strong. In the name of God, I shall smite the enemies of mankind. England shall prevail. 1569. It is almost 20 years since my fight started against the devil, and the end is uncertain. From time to time, the plague, the Black Death, reappears in a village, in a town, and each time the vicious minions of hell approach to get their share of the mortal suffering. Vampires. Dreadful creatures. I won't let this land collapse. Until my last breath, I'll serve and protect England. 1578. Tonight, in the small village of Hoddesdon, I met the most delicate soul I've seen for a long time. She was singing for the dead, singing for those she knew and loved, those killed by a new plague outbreak, without fearing for her own life. Her voice moved me, so I chose to let her live. I offered her eternal life as reward for her virtue and most pious attitude. Her name is Elizabeth Englewood. I'm not alone anymore. Together we shall praise God in all his glory for the eons to come. Oh, so she became a vampire in 1578, so we got that. 1618. My heart is breaking. My soul is bleeding. Tonight my dear Elizabeth left me. I've taught her all I know, all she needed to know. Now she must walk her own path through the ages. This is her wish, and I will respect it. Elizabeth Englewood, my sweet daughter, is gone, for she now wants to be known as Elizabeth Blackwood. I made her a promise. If she ever comes back to Hoddesdon, she will find me there, managing the Bull Inn her parents owned before dying. William Marshall shall disappear for a few times too now. William Marshall shall disappear for a few times too now that the Black Death is no more. Until we meet again, I shall be known as William Thorne, waiting for my angel to come back. 1665. The devil's at work again. The Great Plague is back. reaping thousands of lives. Whoa. In London, I must sell the Bull Inn and go there. Once more, William Marshall shall protect the land. 1666. What have I done? I let the devil infect me. God forgive me. The terrifying creature I had to defeat was a demon straight from hell, an abomination of the flesh, a walking apocalypse. I had to trap the dreadful creature in St. Paul's Church and set the building on fire. Without the advice of Michael, I don't know if I could have defeated my enemy. The flames cleansed the city of the demon's presence, but half of London burnt down. Ever since, I have dreamt of a red flood, of slaughter and rage. It's like the disaster had tainted my blood, my very soul. For the first time in centuries, I am afraid. I shall crawl back to my retreat and pray to God for mercy for my infected soul. 1667. As Elizabeth came to me, she said she felt my pain and rushed to save me. My poor daughter. Blinded by rage, intoxicated by the blood of hate, I bit her. She fled, shocked by my betrayal. I laughed and cried as she cursed me. God, have I betrayed you? Have you abandoned me? 1712. My prayers have been heard. I found the strength to resist the need for blood, the never-ending hunger. My poor Elizabeth, will you ever forgive me? I've heard you now kill and take pleasure in bloodbath with this new progeny of yours. You're a victim in all this. What have I done? I swear I'll find a way to make amends for what I have done to you. I swear I shall only rest once I know how to appease the blood of hate. And then he still keeps going for a long while. Oh my gosh, okay. The Brotherhood of the St. Paul's Stole finally agreed to meet me in London. They proposed to meet inside the new Cathedral of St. Paul. I like the wit and solemnity of these men. What a symbol. To choose the place where I defeated this disaster, but also the place where I fell. I agreed to their proposition. There, in the sacred silence of the church and under the eye of God, they respectfully listened to me. They acknowledged my victory against this evil creature, the Disostro, the Eater of Stars, who only wished to spread death and pestilence all around her. Since they acknowledged my will to save London in 1666, they heard my request, my burning desire to stop the blood of hate. Their primate promised to come back to me with an answer. The primate of St. Paul wrote back to me with just a name, the Tear of Angels. According to him, the ancient artifact could heal anything, cleanse any blackened soul, and purify my blood. Blessed be the Lord, it took me more than 100 years to find a cure for the blood of hate, but I may finally have found it. Soon the rage shall end. Soon I may repair the wrong I did and cleanse my failures. Now all I need is to retrieve the necessary ingredients to create the artifact. Blood of the purest heart mixed with the blood of a king. To find such rare ingredients is not what worries me the most, for time is on my side. It's the last part that worries me. Pure essence of garlic. I'm afraid it will literally hurt like hell when I drink the antidote, but if that's the price to pay to cleanse my soul and correct my mistakes, I am ready to endure this excruciating pain. Now, we read all that already, but I felt like reading it again just to keep things going. 1786. I finally managed to gather all the ingredients needed to concoct the Tear of Angels. How long did it take him? Just 1 year. Blood of the purest for the fortitude, blood of a king for courage, garlic essence for the painful cleansing. After months of impatience, almost made mad by the hunger, I waited again and again, until Elizabeth finally, cautiously came to me. As promised, I chained myself to be sure I would not attack her again. I did not recognize my sweet daughter at first, for she only was Lady Blackwood now, the dreadful mistress of the dark who took delight in slaughter and carnage in France. She smirked as I apologized and cried for what I had inflicted to her. She shouted at me when I tried to explain to her that my bite had infected her, had given her the blood of hate, now burning in her veins, in her soul. I told her that I had found a cure, and that I had managed to create 1 dose of antidote. I gave it to her, to give her back her previous peaceful life. In exchange, I only asked her to take care of me, for I intended to be locked down in my tomb, chained if necessary, to impeach me from feeding on any mortal or immortal. She reluctantly took the Tear of Angels and left. I hope to see her again, cured and at peace. 1794. She came back to me finally, cured, healthy, joyful. My Elizabeth. She told me she had drunk the antidote about a year ago in France after witnessing and taking part in the massacre of an entire orphanage caused by the blood of hate. That's when the Lady Blackwood died, she said. She promised she would take care of me now. That's all I ask, as I repent for all the murdered souls caused by my negligence of more than 100 years. 1795. My dearest daughter came back last week to tell me the good news. She has recently bought a castle in Scotland. She will soon finance the renovation of the castle crypt to provide me a new retreat, far from temptation, far from the noisy, crowded cities. I can't wait to embrace the solitude, find the peace I need to refrain from killing. God, Please give me the strength to resist the urges during the journey from London to my new domain. Before I leave, I should give a copy of these memoirs to the Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stole, without the most shameful and sensible information, of course. Soon I shall leave London to pursue my penance. There I shall find peace at last, with the support of my resuscitated Elizabeth. Woo! Alright. That was a lot. I guess William Marshall's legitimately down here, which is why Mirrodin was saying goodbye to his sons, plural, down here. Was he also talking to him? Is he out of his crypt? Or is he just sitting in his crypt also talking to him? Because that'd be funny. You're just chilling inside of a box and you're just talking to yourself.
Drop your sword, Father. You have nothing to be afraid of.
Shall we abandon this then? Shall we lower our heads?
No, never. You taught me that.
Blood is approaching. Old but young. How strange. Shall I drink it? Smite it?
No, Father. He is a friend. Please, rest. I'll take care of it.
Caution, Elizabeth. Deceit runs through these veins.
I know, Father. What took you so long, Jonathan?
Is this really him?
Yes. This is William Marshall, 1st Earl of Pembroke, servant of 5 mortal kings, former regent and savior of England. The greatest knight who ever lived, according to some.
And you called him father?
For he gave me eternal life, and much more.
I have so many questions, Elizabeth.
You always had questions, Dr. Reed.
Now that I stand before you both, in this vault, I know not where to begin.
We still have a few minutes left.
Only a few minutes? Jeez.
Where are we? What is this place?
This is the Ashbury estate. I inherited the title when I purchased the castle.
Is this your retreat? Something of a secret place?
It's more of a sanctuary, really. This is where I take care of my father. Ever since he became unwell.
Are you not afraid someone might discover you here? It's not that hard to find.
Do not assume that I would hesitate to silence anyone who tried to reveal my secret. Fortunately, it has rarely come to that.
So you're saying it's not at 0 for you to have killed someone to discover this place. Interesting there, Lady Ashbury.
Why did you flee here?
When you told me I was the healthy carrier, I had nowhere else to go.
You mean you had to return to the real source of this scourge?
Yes, to end it, once and for all.
Will you go back to London?
No, Jonathan. I do not intend to.
And what of your daughter?
Charlotte is a strong, independent woman who's about to come into money. I took care of everything. Now it's time for her to shape her future.
Okay. Are you planning to kill yourself here to end the curse? Because, I can't say I approve.
I have destroyed the disaster, this creature that Harriet Jones had become. The epidemic is no more, and London will recover. In time.
Yes. You did well, Jonathan. You truly saved the city.
Yes, we did. Despite all obstacles. I'm truly convinced we did it together, Elizabeth.
I cannot bear knowing I was the cause of all this. Through the use of my own blood.
No. This catastrophe was the result of unethical experimentation. And the will of a creature so inexplicably evil, she exceeds all the terrible wonders I have seen since my death.
But it was my blood all along. My corrupted blood of hate. The poisoned blood of my father. A healthy carrier. That's all I am.
I mean, you're a vampire. It doesn't seem like you spread the disease around you like the unhealthy carriers, like the Icors. So, does it really matter that much? You just have to not let a bad doctor take your blood again.
Is he dangerous?
What do you think? He is a thirsty Ekon who has not fed in centuries. An elder vampire, driven by an urge to kill and spread the blood of hate.
No redemption, then.
And yet he thinks he has been offered immortality by the angels to protect the feeble and to smite the unholy.
Can he communicate?
Yes. Sometimes he even seems like the noble knight who saved and raised me. But you know, the malice never fully leaves his eyes.
You know, we can make the antidote again. We just have to have a nice long chat with Lord Redgrave and McCallum.
Why are you hiding William Marshall here?
How could I not take care of him? He sacrificed himself by giving me the only dose of antidote he had.
He gave you the antidote?
Yes. And in doing so, he knew he'd have to be confined here. And yet he volunteered. That's how great a man William Marshall was. And still is.
What do you do for him?
I visit him as often as possible. I paint the landscapes he will never see again. I feed him with my blood.
You feed him? You barely sustain yourself on the weak blood of the dying, yet you give him your blood?
After he saved me from the blood rage, I swore I would never kill to feed. He said the same.
Okay. Although, you contradict yourself. You just said that he hasn't fed on blood for centuries, so, that can't be right. But maybe you could just say he hasn't actually, like, fully fed for centuries.
We could cure him.
It's too late. The blood of hate has run for too long. The antidote would not work on him. I tried. Believe me, I tried.
Really? Did you give him the antidote a few times? Because if so, then yeah, I can't say anything else.
William Marshall infected you. He is the true, original carrier.
Yes. But he saved me by sacrificing himself.
Saved you? How?
The tears of angels. The cleansing of impure blood by an older, more powerful blood. It worked on me, did it not?
Yes. Blood is the definitive key to our species. SKALS, cleansing, lineage. Do you really think it worked?
It has, Jonathan. I was nothing but a beast who took pleasure in slaughter. I roamed across Europe, reaping my bloody crop. It was the blood of hate. But my father's antidote cured me.
Who are you, really?
How could I answer that? I went through many lives and identities to reach this day. To you, I am Elizabeth Ashbury, and that's all I wish to be.
I need to know more. I respect your desire for privacy. I respect your desire for privacy while still wanting to know more.
I understand. And I respect your desire for privacy.
Thank you, Jonathan.
That's funny because we kind of already went through a whole bunch of her stuff, so it doesn't really matter that we just said that because we know way more than she was ever going to tell us.
How did you meet William Marshall?
He was an Ekon for centuries when he found me. He saved me from certain death by making me his progeny.
Why did he choose you?
You should ask him that.
Can I actually get a chance to do that?
Did you ever blame him?
Not even when he was infected and bit me. He is my father. He raised me. He taught me how to behave.
Okay.
What about us?
What do you mean?
You know my feelings towards you, Elizabeth. But you left without a word. So I'm worried about your feelings towards me.
I love you, Jonathan. I've loved you since the moment I saw you rescue poor Mr. Hampton in that filthy slaughterhouse. Forgetting the danger as you turned your back, like the newborn fool you were.
Alright, fair. It seems so clingy, like, what about my feelings for you, Lady Ashbury? Why did you leave? I love you! Come on! Oh, gosh. Johnny.
You should have told me.
No, Jonathan. The William Marshall myth lies at the heart of so many hostile plans. I could not risk jeopardizing his safety.
So why did you come here? You knew I would follow you. I can't let you go.
Because I know now the blood of hate is still in my veins. No one but I can put an end to this tragedy.
I can help you. You can trust me, Elizabeth.
I know, Jonathan. You have been the most loyal ally these last few weeks. But this is my duty.
Would your protege agree to speak with me? I have so many questions for him.
Go on, Jonathan. But be careful.
Okay. I guess we can have a chat with William Marshall. Hey, old Vampy, how you doing?
Yes?
So, William, my God, you really are William Marshall. You served Richard the Lionheart and his brother, King John. It is such a privilege to meet you.
I did in my day. Come closer if you want to speak. For my hearing isn't what it used to be.
I think your hearing is fine, sir.
What is it you want then?
Yeah, we weren't falling for that.
I found and defeated the disaster that was threatening to smite London. You should know that the city is safe for now, Sir William.
Then may I call you brother? Did you resist its poison? Even a scratch from a beast so evil could endanger you and all those you care for.
Don't worry, I had the antidote.
You also defeated one in 1666. Who was it?
She was a malicious witch who spread plague throughout the city with her army of rats. She had been hiding in a bakery in Pudding Lane for months when I finally found her.
How did you defeat it?
We fought for hours. In the end, I had to lock her in St. Paul's Cathedral and burn the building down. I wanted to be sure she was destroyed.
And then in the end, she was destroyed, but at a great loss.
I found your research on the antidote. The tears of the angels. What ingredients did you use?
Once I understood what the ingredients were, I used the tears of King Richard and the pure blood of the valiant Boadicea.
King Richard and Boadicea? How did you find such relics?
It took me many years to locate their hiding place. Then I had to learn the formula. If I recall, it belonged to an ancient brotherhood. The Order of St. Paul, I believe.
And did it work?
Yes. The tears cleansed my poor Elizabeth's blackened heart. It was such a blessing to see her smile again.
But only if we could have gotten you one too, man.
The blood of hate. How does it affect you? Do you feel it now?
The blood of hate? Yes. Nothing more than a sneeze, really. A sneeze held for so long, you could blow a fortress down if you released it.
I would like to ask you about vampires.
Vampires? What about them?
Considering your experience, please tell me what you know.
They are terrible creatures. I have seen and fought many in my time. foul temptresses with sharp claws and shrieking beaks.
Does he realize that he's a vampire?
I have never seen such a creature. What are you talking about?
Of course you've never seen a creature like them. Vampires are deadly, swift, and implacable.
He must be talking about a different breed of vampires.
Where did you encounter such creatures?
The last time I saw one was in a Celtic temple near Salisbury. A terrible and god-forsaken place full of ghosts and pestilence.
Looks like we still have a few more types of vampires to run into in the future.
Can we speak about the Morrigan?
The Red Queen? What of her?
You met her, did you not?
Just once, but she never ceased to sing to me. I love her song. It is a song of blood and war. I only wish she would sometimes let me rest.
Do you know who she is?
I don't want to discuss this in front of my sweet Elizabeth.
Why?
For a time, she too could hear the Red Song. The steps she danced to its melody brought pain upon the world.
That's fair, I suppose. Alright, let's talk about our maker.
Do you remember Myrddin, your maker?
Only God is my maker, for he created everything on this earth. He blessed me with eternal life through his archangel, Michael.
But Myrddin, Michael, is a vampire. He made you a blood-sucking creature of the night.
Blood, yes. I used to drink it from the throats of the unworthy. Then I was punished for my deceit. During my penance, I rely entirely upon my sweet Elizabeth.
Tell me about Elizabeth. How was she infected?
I do not wish to discuss it.
Please, Sir William. I need to know what the blood of hate is. How is it transmitted?
After defeating the disaster in St. Paul's Cathedral, I returned to my retreat, infected. This is where my sweet Elizabeth found me, for she heard my pain from across the sea.
Where is this retreat you mentioned?
In London, under Temple Church, beneath my empty tomb. I always loved to sleep there while listening to the bell above.
What happened then?
The blood of hate had twisted me into a rage-filled man. I attacked my progeny and infected her too. Forgive me, Elizabeth. I failed you.
You bit her again? Is that how she was infected with the disaster's blood? I think I understand now.
Elizabeth fled, and I fell to my knees, begging for forgiveness. I swore I would find a way to make things right.
Well, you partially succeeded. We just don't know why her blood still makes people change into the creatures infected with the blood of hate.
How did you meet Elizabeth?
Times were tough. I had awakened to protect the land from a new plague. I heard her sing for her dead family. Singing for her death to come. I chose to save her.
When was that?
It was so long ago. A few years after Elizabeth of England and Catherine of France established their alliance against Spain.
What did you do?
I raised her as my progeny. After she left to see the world, I rebuilt her deceased parents' inn. Owned it as William Thorne for a time. Those were good years.
Did you really sacrifice yourself to save her?
That was the only righteous path. The blood of hate made me betray her. I am at peace here. I can think about what I've done and how I failed.
Do you not want to be cured?
No. This hunger is mine. I would feel empty without it. It has been part of me for so long. want is quiet. Silence.
But you could possibly have a little bit of that quiet and silence by being cured. Maybe you'd feel better after the hunger is solved by being gone completely, right?
You agreed to be confined here, then?
Yes. Once I was sure she was cured, I asked to be locked down here. I deserve it. The world needs it.
Well, I mean, I'm glad that he was willing to kind of keep himself locked up to prevent such disasters from being spread around. Although, did he go around infecting other people in the past? How did that not end up causing chaos? I guess he just killed people outright. And Elizabeth probably did the same.
We could set you free. Let you out. Isn't that what you want?
I pray for the day I'll see the sky again. I have all but forgotten its colors. I could walk and do so many things beneath the stars. But I doubt it will be wise to release me.
Then will you stay here and repent?
Elizabeth told me it will not be long now. I cannot wait to feel the sweet caress of her hand on my cheek after so long as she releases me.
This is really morbid, Elizabeth. Are you sure you want to go through with this?
Has the time come?
Yes, Father.
Why not unleash me then? To see the sky a final time.
You already are the sky, and all its stars.
I'm not defeated, for I welcome the sword you bear, for it is mine.
You were never defeated, my lord. Farewell, Father.
Yeesh.
And to you also, Jonathan.
Wait, hold on now.
What do you mean?
I can't stand what I've become. This healthy carrier, as you put it. The flames will purify the poison that runs in my veins.
No! I won't allow this to happen.
I am death, Jonathan. Wherever I go, I can't stand it.
I am Dr. Jonathan Reed, champion of Myrddin, chosen to save England from the vampire epidemic. I could cure you.
What do you mean?
We are creatures of blood, Elizabeth. Everything about us is in our blood. With time, I could perfect the antidote William Marshall gave you. Trust me, for time is on our side.
That is a risk I cannot take, Jonathan. I won't bring another such disaster into this world.
Elizabeth, no. Trust me. I can save you.
How could I trust you, Jonathan? How could I take such a chance?
I'll stay here with you then. As long as we must until I find a cure.
You have no idea what you're talking about, Jonathan. Despite his madness, William was strong enough to starve for centuries. I doubt we can do the same.
That's where you're wrong, Elizabeth. Since I murdered my poor Mary after my rebirth, I vowed to never take a life again, and I've succeeded.
Yeah, technicalities.
I'm not sure I have the strength of character. I'm not like William. I'm not like you.
Let me teach you then. Come with me, my love.
Oh, Jonathan, if only this could be true, but I really don't know.
We'll run away. Go to the deepest forests, the highest mountains. Untouched by man, we'll hide in solitude until I find a cure.
Do you trust me then?
Until the end of the world, my love.
Still not feeling it, but, you know, I'd much rather have a good ending than a bad. So,
One prayer for the summoned called by this song. Child born from darkness, whose path he must find. Now the song is sung and your path chosen. England is safe, for you have prevailed. I wish you a peace duly earned for the centuries yet to come. And they will come. I bid thee farewell, my champion bittersweet. My queen sleeps once again, and I'll soon join her slumber. Until alas she rises, woken by the hunger never fed.
And then once more we'd have to go deal with it, or maybe somebody else would get chosen by Murden. Okay. I think that's Vampyr. I think that is the end of that. We got the good ending. We got the ending for resisting the temptation to eat people, even though it was so tempting. But you know what? It actually turned out to be fine. People were telling me the final fight was going to just be like a real big hassle for me, because I had, and that was basically it. They're like, oh, you can beat the game totally fine without eating people, but the last fight's going to really suck. And we didn't really, I don't feel like we had that much trouble. Like, I got hurt a whole bunch, but I still was able to manage to just kind of like kill her pretty quickly for the Red Queen. And Harriet Jones especially got melted. So that was fine. It was kind of annoying having to deal with enemies being a little bit higher level than us for all of the game for the most part. But it worked out for us, and so that's Vampyr. I have a lot to say about Vampyr, honestly. I enjoyed going through it. I definitely like the foundation of the world. We don't really have that many vampire games, and vampires are always kind of like a neat little thing of lore, especially because you can do so much random bullshit with them, because you can basically just go, and then all of these magic things exist in the world too! So you can go, oh, well, werewolves don't exist, but vampires can get transformed into things that look like werewolves. Just a whole lot of random stuff like that. And obviously, hopefully a lot more creative and cooler can be managed, because it's fantasy stuff. You can write whatever. And so it's cool to get video games on that kind of stuff when there's really, I think there's probably less than like, I've only played maybe 2 games about being a vampire, I think. Maybe 3. There's Vampyr, there's Vampyr's Blood Masquerade, I think. And then anything else I don't remember. So yeah, it's a very, very, very niche game kind of like subject, and so it's cool to have this. And they did a couple of things that were interesting that I don't think they like fully did great, but it was interesting to see. I really liked the citizen hint system. I liked that you kind of had an incentive. If I were to say play this game and be a little bit more of a gray path or the bad path and like eat the civilians, you have a lot more of an incentive to actually find out as much as you can about civilians. Whereas in a lot of games with bad endings, you kind of can just kill them, and that's really that. And obviously you can still do the same here, but it was the difference between like 700 experience to like 2,000 experience, or like 2,000 experience to 5,000 experience. And so you really were incentivized to just say, hey, learn as much as you can about them, do their missions, and then maybe eat them. And that was kind of nice. The one thing I can say, however, is I don't think it's handled very well, because it basically, it kind of nullifies some of the fun of the game in a way that is a little bit more disappointing. When I think of something like Dishonored, how do you do the good ending? You don't kill people, or if you do kill people, you kill a very, very low amount of people, like a ridiculously low amount of people. And so you're encouraged to knock people out or sneak around, and so it changes the entire game around sneaking around and being a lot more peaceful, choking enemies out rather than killing them outright. And that leads to a different kind of gameplay that still has some enjoyability to it. Same thing with, say, something like Deus Ex. You have a lot of different ways to stun enemies, gas grenade them, hit them with a taser, or yeah, go punch them in the face if you can sneak around to them. In Vampyr, you don't have that. You don't have a good path. You just literally don't do anything. You talk to the people, but you don't kill them. But you're still in the meanwhile killing hundreds of Priwen guards and SKALS and Ekons and Vokods around London and drinking their blood so you can get your magic back in the middle of the battle. But you're not drinking the blood of the civilians, and so the story is kind of like, yep, you're doing a good job. And that's such a weird thing to do for being a vampire, because you'd think that a vampire game would be a lot more based around trying to have a gray morality, so that way you want to have situations where you only drink, say, the blood of like villains or really bad people in certain areas, criminals, things like that. And then boom, there's your source of XP. And so while I like the citizen system, I felt like it was used as a crutch to try and make the game like, ooh, look, you have consequences, and so by being good, you're making the game much harder for yourself. Well, look, the enemy levels are so much higher than you, and you don't get to have as many of the cooler abilities, and it's just a whole lot of, you're making the game a lot more hard and a lot less fun for you. And in some ways, that can obviously be used as a message, and that's cool and all, but it didn't really feel that innovative. It didn't really feel that emergent, right? I would have much rather had it something more tangible in the game world. Say, you know, if you're going down a bad path, you have to deal a lot more with like much more advanced Priwen units. If you're going down the good path, you're dealing a lot more with like the pompous vampires, as they're basically getting free reign of the city because you're not eating people, but they're going to be trying to. So you have a lot more missions to try and save people. Things like that. You know, obviously, while they take a little bit more work, probably would have been just much more interesting than going, you talk to citizens and either you kill them or you walk away. And that leads into my next complaint with Vampyr, and that is civilians didn't really have that many satisfactory endpoints to dealing with them. You're encouraged to talk with them. You're encouraged to find out a whole bunch about them. In a lot of ways, you find out so much about them that there surely should be something that you can do for them to help them out. But most of the times, no. Most of the times, you don't really solve their situation. And most of those situations that were there were things that are totally solvable, or in a way that you could deal with. And, you know, some people were saying like, oh, well, that's fine. You're not supposed to solve everybody's thing. But this is a video game. This is an RPG. While that is obviously a point that can be made for like, yeah, you can't solve everybody's problems. It's an RPG video game in 2018, and it would have been much more enjoyable if you could. There's like Karina, the lady who's crazy and eating rats in the street. Didn't see anything for that. Probably all I could have done was just find out one more piece of hint, and that was it. I couldn't help her. I couldn't make her less crazy. I couldn't turn her into an actual vampire. Nothing. What about Crosley? He's literally being poisoned by his wife, and all I can do for him is give him proof that vampires exist. Sort of. I don't really say outright that vampires exist. I just give him all these books, and then I don't like make it so that his wife doesn't hate him. I don't bring them together and give them a fucking conversation like, hey, don't poison your husband, and yo, don't spend all of your life savings. Find a good middle ground, because if you actually love each other, you'd be able to work it out, right? And I could go on for all the different people. And for some of them, you know, it was little stuff like, oh, she likes this guy. Like the bartender and the barmaid kind of liked each other a lot. And that's fine that we weren't able to hook them up. I didn't really care that much about hooking them up, but it's just, yeah, there's so many other random things. You know, you had the kid who's trying to become a wet boot boy, like gang member, and his father almost kills him. And we don't do anything about that. We don't convince him to like leave the wet boot boys. He just kind of stands there, and anytime we would walk up to him and try to like talk to him, there's nothing else there. And that's kind of disappointing. That feels like Vampyr's greatest strength would have been a much more in-depth world, especially since half of the game is spent talking to people. And if you're going down the good path, half of the XP you're going to get, or the vast majority of the XP you're going to get, is purely by just talking to people and doing the side missions for them. So for them to not really go all out on those missions, that was a little disappointing. And then combat was okay. Combat was serviceable, I think. I didn't really have too many issues with the combat besides the fact that like you could lock onto an enemy and miss them point blank range. And it was one thing when like the enemy was knocked on the ground. I kind of just accepted that, like, yeah, they're knocked on the ground. I just swung above them. But like if they're just standing to my left and I'm locked onto them and I'm pointing my analog stick on them and my character misses, that's really irritating. That shouldn't happen. The whole point of locking on to an enemy is so that I am facing that enemy and fighting that enemy and swinging my attacks in that direction, and so that was kind of silly. But obviously I didn't go fully down a bad path, so I couldn't find out more about the combat system. I couldn't have seen how the game would have been had I been like super over leveled over the enemies and had just like ridiculous amounts of damage. But overall, again, the combat was okay. It was serviceable. I was able to kill enemies. I was able to have a bit of a fun time. At the beginning, in the first few levels, it was kind of rough because you didn't really have that many options. But once I'd actually like gone through and leveled myself up, it was much better because you were given a lot of tools to be able to handle situations, and some of them were pretty great. I mean, like the blood barrier, that's a no-cost ability. The coagulation, that's a no-cost ability. So you really can just go, I don't want to take damage, blood barrier. And if I had upgraded that, I could have probably just gone through entire fights without taking a single lick of damage, because a lot of those fights were really just about just kind of like hitting the enemies a few times, then backing off. And I was only really getting hurt in my greedy moments when I was really staying there. So if I'd had a blood barrier during those greedy moments, would have been fine. But that's Vampyr. It's a pretty alright game. I would have liked to have just, again, had a lot more just depth for like the actual overall like depth of the main, like not the main characters, but the NPCs and their stories and the side missions there. The main story was alright too. I think that the end felt a little bit rushed. Like most of the main cool story happened in the last 2 to 3 chapters. Between chapter 5 and 7, a lot of things happened that were really cool, and that was basically like 6 hours of the game. That was basically these last couple of sessions that I recorded. This session's been like 4.5 hours, and so it would have been nice if the game had been a little bit longer and spread these things out a little bit more, so that way we could have a little bit more weight in the world when we're like, oh, we transformed Swansea into a vampire. Now he's just there. We don't really get much out of that besides he's just there, and maybe in the sequel, cool things will happen. So yeah, we'll see if they'll end up being a Vampyr 2, but Vampyr 1 is alright. It was an enjoyable enough game. It wasn't a bad game, and I liked it quite a bit. Again, I really liked the base foundation for its stories. If I had to give Vampyr a rating, I think I would probably give it, I'd give it like an 8 out of 10. If this were like a Vampyr 2 and it had all these problems, I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10 just because, yeah, this game was pretty boring in a lot of its instances, but I like the new foundation, and if it goes into a Vampyr 2, then that obviously, this is a foundation kind of game. It's set up a future for like, hey, here's how we can do this. Here are all the complaints. We've heard all your complaints and we fixed all your complaints. Here, have this super amazing game. This is taking place in like 1940s America, and we have all these different cool things that can happen and choices that lead to super consequences, things that are neat. But I digress before I ramble and like imagine like an entire game here. Thank you guys for watching through this. It took me a little bit of a while to get through this Let's Play. Out of all the Let's Plays I've done, I think this is the most times I've recorded like an hour or two and then had to go and do something. This is the most times that happened. And so that kind of ended up having a lot of gaps in my recording sessions for it, which was a little frustrating to me because I wanted to beat the game much sooner than just like an entire month and a half. So but hopefully you guys enjoyed this. This was definitely, it was a ride. Again, not really the greatest of rides, and that's a shame, but we beat the game. Thank you guys for watching, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this Let's Play in some kind of capacity. I'm sure there would have been, I'm sure a lot of people wanted me to feast on people. It definitely would have made things a little bit more interesting in some of the other areas, but the never-ending thirst, the never-ending hunger, we avoided that ever so slightly, minus the hundreds of people we drained blood from in the streets. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys later.